Okay, guys. So let's dive into HTML and CSS. Just from a show of hands, how many of you guys have used HTML before? How many of you guys used CSS before? Okay, good. I wanted to see that. That's good. Okay, huh? So I'm just gonna throw you around. I'm just gonna give you the lab from now. Okay, let's go over some stuff here. So HTML, what does it stand for?
Hypertext Markup Link.
Okay, cool. Right? And basically, it's everything you see in the browser, right? All this stuff is HTML. If you open up your tools, your dev tools, right, you can go ahead and look at these elements. All this stuff is HTML, all this text, all this stuff. If you click this inspector, right, you see that these are H2 tags, UL tags, H3 tags, P tags, etc. Right? So I'm going to create a real simple thing here. We already have a website. Look at that. All right, what's in here? Okay, cool. We'll work with this one. This is what we were using before. And we're going to ignore the JavaScript for now, and we're going to focus just on HTML. Okay, so what will this do? Anybody? Italic, right? So if I open this up, you'll notice that this is italicized. Okay, and so basically, we're going to ignore the JavaScript, and basically, in the inspector, it's surrounded by I tags, and you see down here in the styles that it's been given this style, italic, right? So it comes with, like HTML, some HTML blocks or elements come with specific styles, okay? How about if I wanted to make this one bold? How would I do that? B, right? So I could surround it like that, right? B. Oops. Oh boy. Right? And now it's bold, okay?
So strong and bold do the same thing. Is there a difference in when you use one over the other?
Which one?
Strong.
Oh, let's find out. So basically, if I do strong, and you can wrap in many, oh wait, damn it, strong. You can wrap this in as many elements as you want, okay? And if we look at it now, this one, strong, font weight, bold, right? So it doesn't look like it's added anything else here that I see. Okay, so real quick, is strong different than bold? Semantically emphasizes the respective text as important. Okay, so no, it doesn't do anything different. Okay, yeah.
So would the difference be bold styles and then strong? Like if you're looking something up, if it's emphasized in Google, it'll come up in a search versus bold.
I think that probably the only time you're going to really see the difference is if you have some sort of some sort of reader, some sort of like for accessibility or something like that, where it will say, and maybe it'll emphasize it more as opposed to a bold text, right? Or something along those lines. This is like known as semantic HTML, best practices, this kind of thing. You want to call things whatever makes sense. But as far as what it looks like, I don't think it's going to be that different. Okay? So, anyways, let's not get too caught up. I mean, you can make up whatever tag you want, you can just go ahead and call it panda, okay? And there's panda, right? And then this is just very, very silly, and it's not going to be good for screen readers, and it's also going to be terrible for other developers who are looking for it, right? So typically, you just want to, this is not best practice. It's best practice to use whatever you think it would be. Like often header, for instance, goes at the very top, right? And footer at the very bottom, right? But do you have to do it this way? No, absolutely not, right? But these are just best practices. And if you notice, header and footer have these display block properties. So what's display block?
Takes up the whole.
Mm-hmm. See how when I highlight over these, the little blue is just is just around the text, but when I go down to the footer, it's all the way. If I go up to the header, it's all the way, right? That's what display block does, okay? And that's again, huh? Exactly. It's the opposite of inline, right? And there's a lot of different kinds of properties: block, inline block, and flex, and all sorts of other ones that we'll get into. But the basic point is that some of these elements have built-in CSS. You can always undo it, right? But they have built-in CSS, and you want to kind of use them in the right place so that if other people are looking at your code, they're not completely lost, right? So how does CSS tie into this? How do I get CSS included on this page? Link it, okay? So how do I link it? What's that?
There's like a link.
Right? So you do, it's kind of like the JavaScript version, but it's a little different. Do something like this, I think. Style sheet. And then you do not source, but href. Okay, common problem there. And I'm just going to call it styles. Styles.css. Call it whatever you like. And I don't know if it's self-closing or not. I still have to look that up. It's pathetic. Okay. And then we create the file, new file, styles.css, enter it, right? And to test it out, I'm going to say background is, oh wait, what am I doing? How do I do it?
Put background in
All right.
the brackets.
Go ahead, Michael.
Color.
Huh? Body. That's the word I was looking for. Then background. And then tomato. Okay? There. Right? Okay? So, there it is. There's the body and the background is tomato. And if I click on the body tag now, I will see the CSS that I added. This CSS is the CSS that just comes naturally with body. This is the CSS that I added. So this body has a margin of 8 pixels naturally, right? So if I want to take that off, just as if I took background tomato, I can also say margin 0. There's a margin or padding? Margin. Save it. And now these guys are flush to the sides. You see this has a little cross out margin 8 pixels because I overrode it. Okay? So there's different levels of CSS, right? Whatever I write here is going to take over whatever was naturally put up here, right? And even further so, there's other things called IDs and classes that make things even more specific. And if you want to get very, very specific, you can also use inline styles, although that's typically not looked a little down upon because it kind of makes your code a little messy. So, Alexis. I don't think that's ever happened. That ever happened. Yeah, and you also have like a lot of times you see like reset CSS and stuff like that where you undo all that stuff. Also, there's a cool little tag called unset. So for instance, say I didn't do this, so it has display block and margin 8 pixels. But if I went and I said unset margin, or is it margin unset? Margin unset or unset margin? No, it's margin. Yeah, margin unset. It takes it off also, right? What's cool about this, I can go ahead and say, hey, look, unset everything, right? All unset. And I just took off even the stuff I put, right? Right. So unset's kind of fun. You can just take off everything. And if you just want to take off everything, you just put an asterisk and you say all unset. Okay? So that's probably not a good idea. So let's keep some of that stuff and let's just comment this out. Cool. So what next? How do I make this page look a lot better? Let's see.
What?
They added a nav bar. We can add a nav bar. 11:56. So, how do we make a nav bar? Nav, right? So I'll put a nav, and in that nav, all right. I go ahead and put what is an A tag? A link, right? Nav inside the header, yeah, typically I think that's probably best practice there. Okay, and this is a link. We'll say home, and we'll go to home. Home dot. Now let's go to home. Okay. So if I save that, now I have a link. Up here you see it says index.html. Oh yeah, you can't mess with the URL. You just have to trust me. It says index.html, and you click on home, and it changed. Right? How do I make home exist? New file, right? New file called home.html, right? Welcome home. Oop, what did I do wrong? Oh, you're right. I have to put the .html in here. Okay. Let's go back, refresh, home. Okay. All right. So now we have 2 pages. Okay. And I can go there. Awesome. Okay. And I can have as many of these as I want. We'll say home. I don't know. It's common. We'll say profile. Huh? Casa. You know what? Actually, I wanted to do this with this will be a little bit of a part of the hackathon. So we're going to have 3 labs. I think one is Spotify. I think the other one is recipes. And Juan, you know the third one? Yeah. Instagram. Okay. So we'll go ahead and change this to Spotify. We'll change this to recipes. And we'll change this to Instagram. Okay. All right. And I will create Spotify.html. I will create Spotify. Save it. I will create Instagram.html.
And then for each HTML, you have to create its own CSS.
You can link to the same CSS, okay, or you can link to separate CSS. It's up to you. All right. You might want to do both. Instagram.
What is best practice?
Well, honestly, this is a bit of a traditional way of doing things. It's really important that you know this because this is like the majority of the web exists kind of like this. But when you start to get into more modern frameworks like Angular, React, Vue, you'll start to realize that there's single page applications. So actually, you don't actually ever technically leave the page. It just feels like you do. Okay. So what's best practice here is, I guess are you kind of talking about like separate CSS? So I would say the best practice in general is just to have your one CSS that talks to everything, and then each component, I'll use the word, or each page will then have its own separate CSS for that specific page. Okay? That's kind of maybe the best practice, but there's a lot of different ways to organize it. You also see a lot of inline styling done now with JSX and React.
So when you link like one of the social media buttons, like the main HTML, you just add like a link tag to it, or do you just add like an Instagram link to like another Instagram? I think you just add a link tag to it, but I don't know how to.
So where? In Instagram?
So yeah, if you were to add like a little Instagram image and like every
Mhm.
like has a little Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's just like tag with an image within the tag and then a link within that. That's not like a separate.
Yeah. Let's add an image. I'm not exactly sure your question, but let me add an image real quick and maybe that'll explain it. So we'll go ahead and we will open this, the Finder, and we will go to, we will say Instagram image. So we do like, or should we do something funny like Instagram boyfriend? Or Instagram what, heart, the heart sunset? What's that called? This guy. Right. There's your classic Instagram thing. Okay. I'll drag the image in here. I thought I was. Oh, okay. You know what's interesting? Actually, I won't drag the image in here. You can link to things that are online as well. So right here, I'll go ahead and I'll say copy image address. So here is the image, right, on the internet. So if you have internet access, you don't actually even need to save the file. You don't need to drag the image file in. You can just directly target it. So you can go ahead. Image source is that. All right. What's up? The alt is good in case you don't know what it is. This is best practice again, right? For accessibility, in case the image doesn't show up, in case someone moves it off the internet, yada yada. Huh? Right, right. Okay. So we go back here, refresh, go to Instagram, and there's our Instagram photos. Did that explain your question?
So it was for the like the little icons you sometimes get that they're clickable. Like how do you make an image clickable? Is that like a separate?
So you can wrap it in an A tag if you want. You can wrap it in a link, or you can put an on-click event with JavaScript. Those two things I think are the easiest way around it. Inside, right. So just like I have text in here, I could theoretically also have my image in here, right? Or I could have anything else I want. I could put an image in here, right? Source equals like that. Okay, this is going to be really, really weird. Okay, all right. And if we add maybe like a width of 50 pixels or something like that, this might work. There's Instagram. I can click on this and get brought to Instagram. Okay. What's up?
If you type Instagram with an anchor tag,
Yeah.
the image would just be there, clickable.
Right. We're gonna take that out for now. Okay. So cool. So that's images. And you can also have the image folder right next to you as well. You don't have to go all the way to the internet for it. You could just drag it into your folder and then reference it that way. Okay, so cool. So this is basic links, recipes, Spotify, and home. Okay, cool. So typically home is index.html. Index.html is kind of a special name. It's what most people refer to as home. Okay, so usually the page that loads immediately. So that said, boop boop.
Just a quick question. When you make an href to a parent folder, does it automatically go to the index.html?
Huh?
Or it doesn't matter at that point? It's going to go to the parent folder. Like, you know how some of the hrefs for the main page, the home page is
Right.
So if you do it like that with no other any edits whatsoever, will it actually bring back the index.html, or is that not set anymore?
So like you're saying, like if I, for instance, had something in here, right?
No, I think like so take Instagram HTML out and just leave the actual slash.
Just like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will just
Bring you to index.
that'll bring you to index. It should, and it does, right? Okay. So that's actually a very common way of just referencing home as well, right? So we can just make home now there, and now if I go to Spotify and I don't have my link, but if I go back to home, it'll be there, right? And I can do as many things as I want here. Hello, right? Nested, whatever, right? And now if I click on it, you see it all get added on there, right? and that'll be a directory within a directory within a directory. Okay, so say for instance, you know how when you guys are doing like cd dot dot, same if I wanted to come back out of something, I could go dot dot slash would take me out 2 levels, right? And then you can go back in as many levels as you want deep. Does that make sense? That would be 2 levels, huh?
It's always dot.
Dot dot is always to go back out, like cd dot dot, huh? Just the slash. So like same, just the word and slash. So the folder name. So let's just do folder names really quick to make sense of this. We'll say, okay, we'll make a new folder. Okay, and we'll say pages. Okay, I'm going to drag home is going to be kind of gone. Delete home. Okay, and then I'm just going to drag Instagram and Spotify into pages. Okay, and so now, for instance, if I want to go from index, these links are no longer going to work the way they did because I have to go not to /Instagram.html, but /pages/Instagram.html. Okay, so then to do that, I would go ahead and say pages/ We don't have recipes yet, so we'll create it real quick. Recipes.html. And now, if I had the nav bar in each one of those, or we're just going to do one for now, we'll do Spotify or Instagram, sorry, a good looking page. And I have the nav bar in here, this has to come out of pages to go back home. So I have to go // right? And these no longer matter, right? So I'm coming out of the folder, right? All right, so here we go, and we'll go back to local. Okay, so now I go to Instagram, and it's pages/Instagram, and then if I click on the home, I go back all the way out.
And what if you click on Spotify for recipes?
Now, that should work because I removed the word pages from the beginning of it.
Why would it not go if you actually have pages? It would.
If you had pages like this,
Yeah.
if you have it's going to depend on whether or not there's a slash in front of it or not. I forget which one. So we do pages like this, boom, boom, and refresh. Recipes, no, because now it's pages, right? So,
Is it because it's already in the folder?
yeah, exactly. It's because it's already in the folder, so you have to come out of the folder to go back to index.html. This just takes a little bit of, like, finicking with it just to get it. Now this works, right? Does it? Yeah, there's nothing in recipes. So Spotify works. So if you put a slash in front of it, Gustavo, it does kind of do it, right? So, but you can also just not have anything.
So if you put a slash in front of pages, then it's not going to do pages, it's just going to go.
Pages, it goes. It's whether there's a slash in front of it or not is like one level up or one or not. But just try it one way and then try it the other way. Right? Okay. So that said, let's get back and mess a little bit more with some CSS. So, oh no, let's do classes and IDs. Okay. So in our home page, okay, how do I target? How do I make this nav look better? How do I, for instance, give it a background color of its own? CSS. I can target it. It's called nav, right? And or you can create a class, right? So let's do the nav first, and then we'll create a class or an ID for something else. Okay? So we'll do nav, and we'll say background, right? And we'll go ahead and we'll give it the color.
Is background color and color the same thing?
Yes. Okay, background's a shorthand though. You can do more things with background than background color. You can also do like position and all sorts of stuff if
So
you.
the background depends on the width that you put to it, right?
Yeah, well, whatever else you
If
put.
you put the width, it will like be background width.
Yeah, you can add more things if you want to get fancy. So RGBA is just colors. 0, 0, 0 is black, and then the A stands for the alpha, which is the opacity. So we'll do 0.8. Okay, refresh, and there it is. It's pretty terrible looking. All right, all right.
How can you get more specific colors? Like you put 0, 0, 0, and that's black. But what about like when we were doing our pre-work and it was like 121, 148.
Right. Cool. So the CSS styles have built-in. This is very nice for the dev tools. You click on this, for instance, and you see the RGBA here. You can click on this, and now you can just mess with it. And you'll see the values down here, and you can even copy that if you want. Yeah, and you can do the same thing in VS Code. That's true. Okay, so which one looks okay? That kind of looks okay to me. Okay, so we're gonna take that, and then we replace it. Okay, RGBA stands for red, green, blue, alpha. Okay, there we go. Now, how do I make these links? How do I do something with them? Make them not so terrible. There's a lot of things, right? There's this, huh? Text decoration is a good one. Nice job, Alexis. So text decoration. We can maybe say none. Okay. How about if I? Oh, yeah. Wait, that's text underline.
Okay, you can say actually nav a pseudo class link, comma nav a pseudo class activated. So when you click it, it's not purple. It's just
Right. We can do the. We'll get to pseudo classes in a second, but for now, let's just go ahead. There's like another way of just experimenting, right? So we don't know. Here's our nav, and here's our A tags. So if we want to select an element inside of HTML, right, you can go ahead and say nav A, right? And here, now the underlines are gone, okay? Because I can specify. First I go into nav, then I go to A, I make the text decoration none, right? So now I have control over this guy, right? Yeah?
So then also if you were to do background color, different color under nav A, it would only highlight what's in the padding or margin.
Exactly, right? These are the A tags, okay? If you have time, I'll send this link out in a minute, but you can Google this one thing called pesticide, I think. It's a Chrome extension. Right, that's a real thing. Oh, Chrome extension. All right, I'll send this link out, and what it does is it gives you this little bug up here in the corner, and if you click it, it puts a border around everything. Right, so you can see kind of how it's all separated. So there's a few different tools like this if you want to use it. Up to you. Right? So, huh? You click a little bit. Okay. And
nav is not inline, but the links in it are.
nav is probably in display block. Yeah, the A tags are displayed inline naturally. Right? So, or they're not display block. Okay, so there's a lot of different CSS stuff, right? Like I just type a letter and look at all this stuff. Okay? Right? There's no reason to memorize all this. Okay? There's a lot. Okay? So, does X have anything? Even no. Well, no. Okay. So, for instance, if you want to see what display options I have. A lot of times I'll just put display on the element, and then I'll just scroll down, and I'll be like, okay, cool, right? I can kind of see what some of these things do. I find one that I like, and I use it, right? Right? So, and you can display flex, or vice versa. I probably want to do that here. Bar, display, flex, and justify content, and yeah, something like that, right? Space between, space evenly, right? Like, you don't have to really know what it's called. You just have to know how to like be able to browse. Okay? I think this space around looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Space between or space around?
Space between.
Ooh, there's a lot of controversy on this one. Around it is. Around it is. All right. Isaac wins. Yeah. Okay. Boom, boom. So then a lot of times I'll just copy these over. I'll toss them in, and there it is. Okay. So now I want to do what? Well, these look. This looks a little tight. How do I make it not so tight? Yeah, padding, right? I mean, like these things are just together, right? So what do I want to put padding on? Probably a lot of things, but
Nav A.
let's say we want to put it both on nav and we want to put it on A. How do I do that? Perfect. Nav comma A, right? That's how you select. Nav space A, this is the child inside the A tag child inside of nav. Okay? But nav comma A means both. Right? And if I do that and I add some padding, okay, we'll say 5 pixels, save it, boom. You see the space now, right? And again, you can go in there, click it, and you got your guy right here. Here's the 5 pixels, and say I want to mess with it, right? I can, right? Okay? So we got 10 pixels, and that's it. What is EM? Anyone see this stuff? EMs? REMs? Hmm? Yeah, so it inherits the CSS from the parent. Okay? It's a little more advanced. You can use it if you like, but you'll notice that basically it's set to 1. I like REM better than EM, but a lot of people use EM. And it's a little complicated. It starts to inherit and change the font size depending. But for now, let's stick to the basics, and let's use 5 pixels. If you want to experiment with that, you're more than welcome to.
What's the difference between REM and
So EM, okay, so if I do something like this, right, it redefines. How should I explain it? So for instance, say I do font size of, okay, we'll do it with a class and an ID in a second. So what's a class? Right, so I'm going to add a class to this bold tag. How do I do it? Class equals quotes, right? And it shouldn't be like that. Okay? And now we'll go ahead and we'll give this a class like, let's just go ahead and we'll say class is bold text. Call it whatever you want. Okay? And we're going to add a bunch of them. Okay? All right? And these classes, even though that one's B, well, we won't call it bold text anymore. So call it text. All right. This one's going to be an I. This one's going to be a straight div. Okay. This is bold. This is paragraph. This is italic. This is a div. Okay. So we save all that stuff. They all have the same class, text. Right? So even though they're all different things, right, they have, let me get rid of this one. Does the bold text get bolder? I don't think so. And this is as bold as it gets. You can do font weight, but I think bold is the most. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, yeah, bold. It looks pretty bold the same though. Bold and bolder. Boldest. All right. Right. Really bold. All right, we're gonna go with just bold. We'll go with bolder. Forget it. Why not? Okay. So that said, how would I make all of these white? Where?
That would make the
main tag for the class and put text. I'm sorry, dot text.
Dot text. This is how you do a class, right? Dot text.
Color.
Color. White. And then they all are. Yay! Okay.
Your page is coming up.
That's yeah. You guys are being nice.
This is what UX UI team
For sure. Right? Okay, so all these guys have the class text, and now that I have them here, I can do whatever else I want with it. How would I? I don't know what do I do. How about font size? Font size, and we'll go ahead and we'll explain now EMs. So, okay. So, first let me explain REMs. I think it's easier to explain REMs. Okay, so if I set, how should I do this? Okay. If I wanted to just select the P tag, or the B tag rather, with class text, how would I do that? This is how you do a parent, right? If this would be the B is the parent and the text would be the child, but this is how you do siblings together, like that, right? That means that only the bold, if you're both bold and have the class text, now only the bold has that, okay? If I was to switch that to P, only the P would have that, right?
What happens if you B and then
Space? So there's no child called text inside B, so you won't see anything.
Can you do like BP dot text?
Again, this won't show anything like this. You could, but then it'd have to have be both bold and a P tag. Actually, I don't think you could. So no. Anyway, so here's the color, right? And now, how do I do multiple ones? I can do b.text again, right? With the commas, right? Okay. But we're not going to do that. I just want to show you one thing. We'll keep them all white because we got a yay out of that. And then,
Does it have to be dot text or?
now I'm just going to show you the font size. So b.text is the bold that has the class text. P text is a P tag. I text is the italicized text, right? Now if I do font size, and I go ahead and say 1 REM for the bold, 2 REM for the paragraph, and 3 REM for the italicized, notice this is at 1, this is at 2, this is at 3. And if you inspect them, right, you can actually see 1's there, 3 is on that one, and 2 is on this one. And if you looked at properties, maybe, I think it's computed. I don't know where that is right now. P-text. No, it's going to be that. We don't want that. Where's the computed? Is it on the left-hand side here? Computed. You see it's 32 pixels. Okay? So, this one is 32 pixels. Anyone want to take a guess what this one is? 16, right? This is 32. Anyone want to take a guess what this is? 64, right? Oh, no, 48. Yeah, 48. Okay? So 16 plus 16 plus 16 is 48. Right. Right. So this brings us perfect, right? So this is REMs. So your one REM is always going to be 16. Half of REM will be 8. 2 REM will be 32. Right? Yeah.
When you're deciding what to define your font sizes with, do you usually use REM or is REM kind of standard? Or
Yeah, REM will be the.
There's like 500 different units. It feels like to define font size.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're fine just going with pixels. That's kind of that's not bad practice at all. This is just like web designers, like REMs and EMs, because they all go together up and down.
There's REMs and there's EMs.
There's EMs, which I'm about to show you right now.
REM is just like
16 straight up all across. I mean, you can define it somehow at the.
But is it reference from the father of the element or from the
The first REM set, like that you said.
The first REM that you set. I have to look up exactly how the set is, but we're not gonna get.
Is the one
something like that. But let's not get too far into that right now. I just want to show you EM, and then we got to move forward. So REM was, right, this was 163248. Remember? Right? Now if I change EM, save it, refresh. Oh, shoot, is it going to be the same? Damn. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Hmm? It redefines it. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's working. 2 a.m.
Maybe with, the first time you declared the class text, you were missing the period.
I'm missing the what?
Period. Before text.
That's just not gonna use it.
But that's
Oh, that's gonna make them all white. I don't think this is gonna matter.
So I put in 1 a.m. to the body tag, and it will
Hmm?
So I put in 1 a.m. to the header tag, and it will change your below.
To the header tag.
Yeah.
1 EM?
1 a.m. to the header.
Are they in the header? They're not in the header.
Just create text in the header and put in 1 a.m. and you're gonna choose the rest.
Okay, let's do it. I like it. 1 EM like this. Okay, and then in the header, there's text. Actually, you're right. It didn't change it. I don't think so. No. Okay, we'll look up another example before it. The general principle is that EMs are supposed to keep resetting. But for some reason, it's not working. Yeah.
Are the units of measure like looking at on the pixels, are they all dynamic depending on your viewport?
No. So there's other fonts too. There are ones that are really cool as well, called viewport width and viewport height. So this one, for instance, will change depending on the width. This is all viewport width. So refresh it. So now it's really small, but if I open it wider and wider, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And so that's viewport widths.
Just make it static, just not change it out.
Then just use pixels. View height, view height, view height. We got a lot of things to cover still, so let's go ahead, and then this one's covered on view height. Okay? So there are viewport widths, viewport heights, EMs, REMs, pixels, points, and more. Let's just leave that for now. I like width. Okay, so we got media queries to talk about, interest selectors, advanced selectors. What else do we have? IDs. Okay, so what's an ID? Hashtag, right? So I'm gonna change this to hashtag, and I'm gonna say this is an ID. Okay, and now
What was the thing that you used?
VW in the end I used viewport width, and this is an ID, and I can go ahead and make this magenta. All right, we'll see. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so the thing, what's the difference between an ID and a class?
Classes are more for reusing, while IDs are more for specific features. But you can do both.
You can do kind of both, but IDs are typically when you have one thing, and classes are typically when you have lots of them. Okay, this matters more in JavaScript than it will in CSS, but it's still better practice. Hey, if you only have one thing, make it an ID. If you have a lot of things, make it a class. Okay, so that said, this is another way of getting a specific thing. So let's talk a little bit about positioning and stuff. So say, for instance, I want to put, this is a div.
Quick question.
Yeah.
That I've had like during the pre-work.
Sure.
What's the difference between the font type and font family? Because I know there's like families like sans serif and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
you also do like sans serif with the font size.
Font type? Where do you see font type? I don't see type.
In font style.
Like or font style, right? Font style and font.
Guys, I mean, look at this. Font variant, all petite caps. There's just too many things. Okay, like just don't worry about. I mean, there's a way to do everything you could imagine, and there's probably like 1,000 ways to do the same thing. Let's just go over the general terminology. So this is an ID. First of all, how do I put the footer at the bottom of the page? Where it should go.
Just a line.
You can do that. I want to use something else. I want to use position.
Relative?
Relative, but I'm going to use position absolute. Let's talk about position absolute. And, whoops, what am I missing? Footer. Okay, position absolute.
You put absolute.
Oh, shit.
Absolute. Okay, and that's going to do what? Nothing right now, right?
Only 45 minutes left.
Huh?
And then you just do like flex or something to like move it down.
Right, so I got position absolute here, and now I can put it absolutely anywhere on the page, right? So if I'd say top 0 goes to the top of the page, right 0 goes to the right, bottom, okay? It's going to conflict because it has multiple things, but if I put display, no, block's not going to work for me. Okay, anyways, what we're going to do is just bottom, so take off top. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and say, not left, margin. Oh, it's because there's no width. We'll say width 100%. What am I missing here? Why didn't that width work? 100 VW.
What if you set the display to block?
Oh, no, it's there. It's just the text is not. It's not there. Okay, so 100. I'll show you in a second what I mean. We'll do 100%. We'll do background black. Okay, so it's there. Okay, and then to center it, we'll do text align center. Okay, take all this stuff. We're pretty happy with it.
What's the difference between display flex and position absolute?
Lots of differences, but position absolute is older, and display flex is kind of more in use now, which we'll be going over soon. But position absolute, you can do a lot of interesting things too, like right here, right? It's just you just put it absolutely in one spot. Display flex is more complicated, but more in use, and we'll go over flex. I think you'll see the difference once we do it. Okay, it'll be easier to understand. I think
So display.
they're very different.
Display and I guess instead of the flex and absolute, display and position are just two different things.
Yeah. Position. There's only a few ways to position. It's absolute. It comes off automatically as static or relative, and there's absolute where you can position it absolutely, and then there's also fixed. So fixed is really interesting. So say for instance I have like my body, say there's a height, right? Say we have the thing is like, I don't know, 3,000, let's say 2,000 pixels tall. Okay, you'll see now a scroll bar, right? See that scroll bar? Right? But now how about if I want the footer to always be on the bottom and the header to always be on top? How would I do that? With position. Exactly, right? Position fixed. So in the nav, I'll throw in position fixed. And now it's going to come with me, right? That you often see. It's pretty common, right? Okay? And I can also position the footer instead of absolute as fixed as well. And now that comes with me, okay? And maybe I don't want it positioned at all, okay? Where is the footer? Is it inside the body? That's the problem. So if I had, for instance, a content, say I had like a, let's say this is a div class equals main, or let's just use main. Use the main semantic one. Main, okay. And we'll go and we'll take this, and we'll go ahead and put that there so the footer's outside of it. Save it, and instead of doing the body alt all, I'll do the main alt all. Cancel. And now, at the very bottom is your footer. Okay? All right, so this is a pretty common way of doing it. Okay, so that's position fixed. This is position absolute. Okay, and these guys are positioned relative, I think, on default. Cool. Okay, moving forward, let's go ahead and talk really quickly about transitions, animations, and we'll spend the rest of that. We'll spend the half an hour after playing a game. Cool. So there's lots of different kinds of advanced selectors and pseudo classes and types of things. There's more, obviously. Like there's like a greater than sign, an equal than sign. Like you can do stuff like this, which is like the first child of it, right? You can also do nth child and all sorts of stuff, right? So there's a lot of material here, but say for instance, these are all siblings, right? These are all A tags. If I want to select the third one, right, I could, okay? And I could do that by selecting the nth child, okay? So for instance, nav A, nth child, 3, color, green. Okay, green, yellow. Okay, and that one's green, right? Yellow will be easier to see. Okay, so if you noticed, right, I was able to select it even just by whatever it is, right? The child number 3, 2 will be the guy to the left, right? 4 will be all the way to Instagram, right? And so there's lots of different kinds of selectors. There's also first child, and then you don't need this, right? And there's just a way of doing just about everything. Okay, so you can also start to do odds and evens even. Like if you wanted to, there's ways. You can Google that. It'd be like CSS, every odd nth child, right? And you will see some way of doing this. There is, I know there's a way. Oh, look, it's just odd now. All right, so that's nice. You go, and there it is, right? So that's the odd child, and that's the even child, okay? And you can just kind of start to play around with things and see how the selectors are. Bottom line, if there's one specific thing you want to do, there's definitely a way to do it, okay? So we're going with nth A even child, and you will be using CSS constantly. So you'll get used to it as you practice it. So we have that. Let's talk quickly about pseudo selectors. Anyone know what a pseudo selector? I think Victor, you think you mentioned it. What's a pseudo selector, and how do I do a hover?
So Cullen, hover, and then that's it.
All right, I'll elaborate a little more. Anyone else know how to do a pseudo selector?
No, how to do it, or like
Remember the syntax.
yeah, the colon. Like 2 dots.
Colon, yeah.
Yeah, colon.
Right? Hover. Okay. And now if I hover over any A tag, I'll say I'll make it the color, white. Okay? So when I hover over them, this one's overriding it because of importance. Okay? But that, if I put the nav, yeah, specificity. If I put the nav, you notice it now works. See, before, this one was more specific than this. So even though this is on the bottom of this one overrode it.
The dev tool in Chrome tells you the specificity, right? Like,
Yeah, you can see it there. You can do a lot of things here as well, right? So for instance, if I wanted to see what the state would look like on hover, I could go ahead and click on recipes, right? In recipes right here, I could click on this, and I could see all these pseudo classes. So on hover, for instance, that's what it looks like, the color white, okay? So you can do that by clicking this if you want to. But anyways, this is a pseudo class. There's a bunch of these as well. So we're going to go ahead and say hover active. Active is once you clicked it. Okay, we'll say color is, or we'll say font size. Get real weird. And we'll just make it 20 pixels. So now when I click on it, oh crap, I leave the page, but it also goes, am I on the same page? Refresh. Okay. When I click on it, it gets bigger. Okay. So these are pseudo classes. And that's the word that's what you pseudo classes. Okay. Cool. Right? Also this as well. Anything with these colons.
Isn't there a way to like? Because I can't find it now, but I'm pretty sure that there is. Do you know if there's a way to find like what each selector or thing in CSS, like their specificity? Because I know that it has like a parentheses and 0, 0,1 if it's in a D or something like that. Or you know if you can find it in the DevTools.
Like here, you're saying? If you hit this plus sign, it'll do it for you. Like that's an A tag, but sometimes, like say I hit the footer, plus sign, it makes the footer. Right? There's also, if you go and you like inspect this element, let's see, no, you do it from here, control, and here, you can go ahead and say, copy right here, right? Copy outer HTML, copy selector, possibly. And there it is. That's as specific as you could possibly get for that guy, right? So what all this means is that means the first header inside of the body tag, the first nav inside of the header, the first nth child, third, right? And this is gonna work no matter what, huh?
You can also do exclamation important if you wanna properly do it.
Yeah. Also, yeah. There's a lot, but that's usually you usually don't want to.
This is if you want a specific text starts to be changed. Is that what you're saying?
What's up?
What's that for? Why do that?
Why be this specific?
Body, header, nav.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
You can just make it a class there.
Exactly. There's a lot of ways to do the same thing. It just depends on whether or not you want to, right? So we're just gonna make this the color teal, and we'll see that this is gonna obviously always win because of how specific it is, right? First child, first child, first child. There's also siblings. There's also all sorts of things, guys. So don't worry about knowing all of them, right? Learn the names so you can Google it. Pseudo classes right here, right? And then viewport widths, EMs, REMs, just a real basic positioning, right? And displaying. Okay, these are probably the two most trickiest parts. Putting things where you want them. Okay. Other things that you can talk about are media queries, transitions. Okay. And so, anybody know how to do a CSS animation? All right. So, basically, you can animate any property by adding or removing a class to it. Okay. So, and then there's keyframes animations as well. All right. So let's go and try this. So CSS advanced selector, former, CSS tricks. Okay, so transitions and animations. Okay. Actually, since neither one, let's not focus on transitions and animations quite yet. I'll save this for another day because you guys aren't going to need it, or I'll talk about it quickly after lunch. Let's first go and check out this Flexbox stuff. Okay? So, boom, 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 boom. And if we have time afterwards, we will do that. So where is my guy? Day 5. Am I in the wrong unit? Responsive web design. Okay. Cool. Anyone ever see this before? Okay.
What's the at?
The at, this is a media query. Okay. So, taking it back to our stuff, right? We're going to go ahead now and we're gonna have say, okay, well, when the minimum width is 1,000 pixels, our body is not gonna have a background color of blue. Great. At media, we'll say min width. I get that? There we go. No. Okay. See that? All right. So what happened there? When I get to the minimum width of 500 pixels, I change my body's background color, right? Okay. So I can do this for everything. Anyone know why I ever want to do this? Responsive design, right? We all.
That's a cool question. Like, so let's say you got desktop, tablet, and phone.
Yep.
You better at those three screens. These people like basically writing CSS twice again with a different with changes to it, but in essence changing everything again, or no?
Changes to what?
Like for example, if you wanna like really responsive websites, like fonts are responsive to it, like everything's responsive to it. Is it a CSS a completely a copy of whatever the parent for the desktop is, but inside the media query? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's like whatever you'd want to change, right? So typically they usually tell you to design mobile first, right? So what I like to do typically is like my first design is for the mobile, it's for the phone, because it's the hardest one, because it's small, right? And it's easier to move from like a small space to a big space than vice versa. So I literally try to do mobile first, and then afterwards you can have them as separate files if you want, right? Afterwards I do I'll say will be my desktop version, right? And then you just kind of override whatever needs to be overridden, right? So this will be what it looks like. Tomato will be what it looks like on my phone, and maybe this is too big, okay? And then when it gets bigger, I have my desktop view, right? Right? And so you can do all sorts of things, not just background color, but you might also want to say, for instance, we'll change this color of this because we didn't use it that much, okay? We'll change this color to be, anyone know how to say that? Chartreuse, okay? Right? And it is that color. There, huh? No, I changed that one. I like chartreuse. Okay, we'll change this to blue. Okay, right? And you notice this also changed colors, right? At the same media query. You can have as many of these as you want. You can have it change from at 300 pixels. You can have it change again at 500 pixels if you want something even bigger, right? And you can copy these CSS styles over and over again and change anything with a J, K, khaki. Okay, so now.
The lesson like text.
Hmm?
For the lesson of today, is all this information found there?
Yeah. It's all inside of the lesson plan, right? So here I have 2 breakpoints, right? Right here it turns to chartreuse, and here it turns to khaki, okay? And so as you see, right, you can have as many different kinds of media queries as you like, right? And what are these called when I'm doing this hover? What's this called? Pseudo class, okay? How did I do this with recipes? Huh? I had this crazy thing here, okay?
Oh, that stuff.
Right?
So actually, how did you get to that path again?
So control, this will be useful for JavaScript stuff too. Control, yeah, then you do it over here. Actually, you have inspect it, and then you control over here, right click,
Okay.
and then you go to copy, and then you copy the selector,
Copy select.
okay? And that'll be that big thing, okay? So, cool. All right. So that's media queries in a nutshell. Okay, and you'll be using that now for a lot. So, all right, so quiz. So say I want my nav bar to be full width on mobile, but on desktop I don't want it to be. Or, yeah, I think that's fine. Let's try that. Or let's just say, let's do something simpler then. First of all, how do we make the nav bar full width?
100%.
All right, click on it, mess with it, right? Width, 100%, okay? And that's the percent of its parent, right? So, what's wrong with this, though?
The margin of the right is
Yeah, the padding on the left-hand side doesn't look so good, right? And that's probably because I have it on both of those. If I do width 100% here, okay? And I take off the padding on the left-hand side.
or if you want to add padding to the right hand side.
Nah, you probably just want to take it off. I'm going to go ahead and be a little lazier and just do 90.
I think that you forgot to reset by saying the asterisk.
Huh?
Yeah, I think that at the beginning it's better to just set asterisk open curly bracket and then just set the margin and the padding to 0.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. I put it here. Oh, wait, no, you're right. Is it on header?
No, it just
It's on body?
asterisk. You just add a new select it pretty much instead of saying body or HTML, just
This?
yeah, and then padding and margin to 0. That's
Just for everything?
resetting.
Yeah. But,
But that way,
yeah,
see that now when you do width,
just anything will have it. It's a good one. It's a good idea. This asterisk means it highlights everything, right? So if I was to go ahead and put a border,
has no specificity too, so you can replace it easily.
dash Sam slate blue, now everything has a border of 2 pixels, right? Right, so you can use an asterisk to do that. Okay, so that was a good call, right? So now how do I make it across the screen?
Just like you did with 100%.
Okay. All right, so right here, with,
You know that happens to me all the time when I'm auto-completing. I don't know what that's for.
this is starting to look not so bad. Okay, cool. All right, now I want to use a media query, and I want to change the, I want to make this bigger when it is khaki. How do I do it? Khaki. How do I make this bigger, the whole nav bar, when it's khaki?
Go into media where you have khaki,
Yep.
and then you would do it inside of there.
What would I write?
Font size.
Where?
You want to, nav.
Nav?
Nav A, right?
Oh, either way.
So nav.
Nav A, font size, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just say
3.
3 REM
Uh,
or whatever.
Not 30.
Bah! Right? Okay. That's too big.
2.5.
1.5.
That looks alright. Douche. Alright? Okay. So cool. It's actually looking cool. Alright, real quick then. We'll do a little quick on transitions. We'll have another talk on transitions later because they're fun with the media transitions and stuff like that. But one thing also that we can do with this asterisk that I like to do sometimes is put transition all, right? And then the time. So I'll say half a second. Okay? Now everything when it's moving between one thing and the next will not just immediately click, but will transition. So now we got to start going. It's everything grows and shrinks, right? And this is the timing. Okay? So you go, right? Okay? So it's starting to look kind of cool. Okay? And that's basically,
So transition pretty much is kind of like morphs into it rather than it's just like a switch from on and off.
right. And that you can put a transition of whatever you want. You can say transition margin only or color only, right? Of any specific thing. In this very, very broad situation, on everything, I'm saying transition everything 1.5 seconds, right?
And if you do it 5 seconds, it's just like when you're moving it, it's going to take 5 seconds.
It's going to take a long time. Okay? There we go. Okay?
You could have transitions for anything.
Anything. And there's also animation, keyframe animations, which I'll talk about later. We'll because I feel like I had to go through this pretty quick, but I'll do it again. Okay, so you guys will have it like cemented. All right. So that is basically, let's see, what did we cover here? We covered links, different pages, HTML. These are tags, semantic HTML by using the right words like main, header, footer, body, nav. We covered classes, text, IDs. That's when you only have one, right? Okay, and then we covered, let's see, we covered, this is child, right? These are pseudo classes with the colons, right? This is specificity, okay, right? So this will be like first header and body, first, it'll be the first, third, a tag in the first nav of the first header in the body, right? Pretty damn specific, okay? So you can get as specific as you want, right? Pseudo classes. What's this one? Right? Commas, if you want to have as many of these as you want, right? You can keep adding stuff here, okay? Right? And then what's this? What's the word for this? Siblings, right? And they have both. There's both a P and has a class text. You can also have as many of these as you want, right? Something's right. Okay. Footer and finally responsive web design, media queries. Okay. There's lots of different things you can do here, and we can look up different examples. So that's it. So the one. That was really quick. So we will definitely go over it again. But you'll have plenty of time to practice this afternoon, okay, as well. So one thing also that I want to do while we still have a little bit of time is Flexbox, okay? So the easiest way to understand Flexbox is just to play Flexbox Defense or Flexbox Froggy with I think someone threw that in the chat. Oh, yeah? Awesome. Which one? Froggy? All right, so let's do defense together. Okay. In this situation, what is this called? It's a class, right? Okay. So what do I want to do here, okay? There's going to be a bunch of bad guys that come down this, okay? And I want to shoot them, okay, with my little cannons, okay, before anyone gets over here, okay? So, how do I do that? Justify content, right? We haven't gone over this, so we'll just say it. Justify content center, okay? And there you go, and that, all of a sudden, we'll put in the center, okay? We did the same thing with the nav bar, I believe. Display foot, no, we did justify content space around. So there's a lot of different options here. Oh yeah, here, we can click on this. It'll tell us. Flex start, flex end, center, space between, space around. So if you go flex start, it's at the beginning. Flex end, it's at the end. All right? Space around. Right? Exactly, right? Space between. Okay. So which one looks like the best? Center? Yeah. Center it is. No, not at align items yet. It's coming up though, I think. Okay, so right here we go. Start the wave. And. All right. Heads up. Cool. All right. All right. So that blew him up. All right. So next wave.
What is the first parameter? Display flex.
Display flex is just like so you have access to all these other things. Justify content and align items mostly.
So
All right.
flex the only thing you can put there though, like the only value.
Yeah, if you had display, for instance, block or inline block, it's not going to work. Okay. You need display flex, and then you can use all the flex stuff like justify and align items. So Here we go. Now we have more than, now we want to use justify content again. Okay, but now we have these three. So what do? Justify content. And the first guy is going to go where? And how? How do I do this? Flex end. Okay, and the second guy, justify content. Okay, center. Last guy, flex, probably flex end, right? Spell something wrong?
Oh, you wouldn't.
No, I just have to click. Okay, fire away. Lower? All right. All right. It's gonna get harder. It's gonna get harder. All right, next wave. All right, so what do we do here? This guy's justify content, center,
What's up with the right now and
It's inside of the trash, so it's like
justify content, space between.
yeah. It's between is
Boom, looks good. All right, someone drop a beat. Someone start flowing. Cool. All right, next wave. Got it. Okay, now we got align items. Justify content is left and right. Align items is up and down. Okay? At first, until you start rotating things. But right now, justify content is left and right. Align items is up and down. So align items, just like you had flex start, flex end, you have flex start, flex end. All right, so how do I do this? Where do I go with this guy? Align items, flex end. Start wave. Oh, no. Ow. Can I do this in the middle? Okay, no. Okay. Align items, flex end, and notice how this goes to the bottom. Okay, and this guy will be what?
Copy paste.
Copy paste. Done. Start. This might not work. This might not work. Ah! It's gonna get close. If I wanted to move these guys to the right, what would I use? Justify content. Cool. All right, we got there. Next wave. Okay. All right. Now we need them both. All right.
Okay, so you can just do the first one, flex and
Justify
justify content center.
content. What are we doing? Center.
And then align items between flex and
I think space between
Space around.
space around. Yeah.
And then align items, flex end.
Align items, flex end. Beautiful. Second guy. Somebody new? Natalia? Uh-oh. Yes, very good. Justify content. Center. Okay. Somebody new? Yeah. Huh? Justify content. Content. Yeah. That's not gonna work.
What about space around?
Center.
Select on the center, align items center.
Center, align items. Center. center. That looks pretty good. That looks good enough. Start wave.
Now we're just
Just relax.
need to upgrade the towers.
Didn't stand a chance. Next wave. Okay. All right. What do we do here? Somebody new. Gustavo, what do we do here?
So justify space between. See,
Space between.
is there any way of
I don't know if you can do anything else here.
you can center it. Yeah, try to center it.
You think it's gonna fit?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's
I
for.
have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Just makes it. All right, that's definitely right. Huh? Yeah, right. It's getting close. Ooh, that was close. Nice got him. All right. Nice.
Oh, you got it.
All right. Things are getting tougher now. Flex direction defines where it's going to be, right? Okay, so you can go in rows and columns. Okay? So now what do I do? Right? So now if I make them a column, right? Flex direction, column, right? What does align items do now? It used to be up and down, right? Now it's to the center. I flipped the whole thing, right? So align items used to be up and down. Now when you rotate the direction, align items is left and right. Justify content is up and down, right?
So then a line item would be flex start.
Yeah. I think you have to put anything, but yeah, we can put flex start, should work. Flex start should be to the left now, right? Flex start. Nice. Okay. And for this one, same thing, just about. Somebody new. Malin? That's your name? Is that how you pronounce it? Malin? How do you pronounce it? Malin? Malin. Okay, so what do I do here? Do you know? Flex. It's the same thing, right? Flex direction. Somebody help her out. Igor? Flex direction. Column. Very good. Okay, nice. Good job, guys. And that's all you need for this.
We're gonna like tilt it slightly to the right. So move it slightly to the right, like 3 pixels or something.
That you use like padding or something like that, right? Cool. All right, next wave. Whew. All right, what do we do here? Okay.
There we do the same.
Okay, first one we can do, sorry, column, second one,
Okay, justify content.
no, flex direction column,
Flex direction, yeah, sorry. Flex direction. Column.
Let's do that one there.
and then the other one, flex direction column,
Column, and then to the center.
and then align items center.
Column, right? And align items center. Very good, right? Cool. Boom. So you can see flex, all this stuff is mostly about positioning, right?
Yeah.
You can see it's all about, huh? All right. So now what? Well, this one looks hard. Oh, these guys shoot 4. Yeah, so these guys shoot all 4. Space between, and how do I use space between? Justify, because it's not been flipped, so it's just the original way. Justify content, space between. There's another one. Space around. Yeah, that's a better fit. And then this one down here. Justify content, space around. Okay, yeah, line, item, center. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, fire away. Oh, wait, though. Yeah, plus, yeah, right. We want to kind of flip both of these, right? We want this 4 guy. We want this guy to be here, right? That guy to be there.
So then would flex direction be backwards?
No, make it go reverse. No.
Can I do it in the middle? I don't know. It might still work.
No, it won't work. They still have way too much.
Uh-oh. Well, we haven't lost one yet. This is not looking good. Uh-oh. Oh. I don't know. This might not have working. This is getting close. No. Oh, we lose.
No,
What happened? Right. Okay.
So flex direction should be go reverse.
So I cancel it? Why don't I just lose? Okay. Try again. So we still scored 20. Okay. One more time. Now what do we want to do? We want to do flex direction, and there's a reverse, right? So flex direction, row, reverse. And now you'll see that it's all over there. And now what did we use? Justify content, space around, I thought? Space around. There it is. And same thing here. Can I copy both of these? No. This one's just space around too? No. Yes. Wait, no, I need also line items for this one, right? Row reverse. Yeah, line items. Center. Okay, cool. That's got it. It's getting louder. It's as low as it goes. Alright, we can take a break. Alright, for finale.
By the way, like, when it comes to CSS, you don't have to worry about precedence, like inside of the actual, like inside of the bracket, you have to worry about precedence, or it doesn't matter how they fit in.
What do you mean present? Like what order they're in?
Like, I'm trying to think of a situation where,
Here you go.
I don't think you really have to worry about like the order and put stuff in because even in the pre-work, like you just go back and you add it at the bottom. So I don't think it doesn't matter what order you put it inside the brackets on CSS, like background color and then below it font size.
No, but it does matter if it's the same property. So it goes top bottom. So the bottom of the page has the most precedence. So if I said background color is blue up here, I said background color is pink down here, it's gonna be pink. Okay, so it's like whatever, it'll redefine it by the time it gets to the bottom.
Inside the same bracket?
Inside the same bracket and below. But inside the same bracket, you shouldn't have two properties, right? Okay, so let's go. Let's finish this up. So what do we do here? Uh-oh. We have an order property. Order says what order everything is. Everything is default to 0. Okay? So look. So I have these guys. 1, 2, 3. I have a lot of classes here. Okay? So this is the whole thing, and these are each individual tower. Okay, so for instance, I'll give you a little hint here. If I do order and I do 1,000, it's going to get mad at me. Because why? Justify content.
Because there's one not 1,000 in there, so it's either like
Yeah, it's,
I've been doing it now, because it's one of the items.
oh yeah, it's 1. I guess you can't do 1,000. Okay, you can do like 10 though, right? Yeah. All right, whatever. So 0 default is 0. So look at, okay, let's go ahead. Look, this guy's in the middle, right? Our tower. Okay, 0 is default. 1 will move him to the right, and -1 will move him to the left. Okay, so we want to move him to the right, and then what do we want on the whole thing? All right, so justify content, space around. Okay, and then now the next guy. How do we do this? Justify content, space around. Can't type anymore. Okay, and then what do I do? Perfect. I think we have to do this until it's done. You can go to the next one. No. It's not letting me. Come on, guys, it's war. Right. All right. Yeah, right. Okay. Cool. Next wave. Got it. Let's go. So we gotta do this by 1. Come on, guys. What do we got? Come on, quickly. Justify content. Something. Space between. Okay. What else? How do we move it up and down? Line items.
Align self. What's align self?
Ah, crap. More stuff. Align self will align
Oh, okay.
the whole thing. So align self.
Can you align each single tower? So like.
No. Oh yeah, here I could. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna have to do that, right? Shoot. So we want to do align item center probably to move the whole thing in the center. I'm guessing, and then the last 2, the 2 end ones, we probably want to move 1 up and 1 down, maybe.
No, I think the align items, you might want to take that out and then tower 1, 1, align self, and then put end,
Flex end,
plus end.
and then take this off.
Yeah. And then tower
1, 3.
1, 3.
Okay, this works. Flex end. Okay, that's good.
Power up.
Shouldn't this guy go down a little bit, or no? We're good. Let's go. All right, how do I make him in the center? Okay, I'll answer that one myself. No? This is. Think so? It's just about the same.
That first one's not doing anything.
Oh, you're right. The first one's not. The first. I don't know. God. There you go. Yeah. He's good. He's good. He's good. Look at that. All right, cool. Everyone's like, we're hungry, please kill it. Okay, add it. All right, last one. We're 12 of 12. 12 of 12. What do we got? Okay, let's start there.
Just flex direction.
Flex direction column here.
Flex direction column here.
Flex direction column. Yeah, maybe, and then order them, and then flip them. I don't know.
Just put everything in the center and then just order it, say, align self.
Justify center to justify space between.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You got the first one.
And then
And you want to take the third and the fourth element.
actually the first two.
These
The
two.
first one is alright. Yeah.
Two and this one, right?
You want to switch around 3 and 4. So
To the
move
center, yeah.
1, 4, negative 1. So tower 1, 4.
Yeah. Order.
Move it.
No, I think
And then we can go ahead and do. Oh man, this is getting confusing. Why don't we just do this? Okay, we'll just say we want order here is 0. Okay, order here is, we'll say 2.
yeah, like tower 2 and tower 3 should go in the center, and then tower 4 should go, and 5 should go.
So yeah, so this is order 1, right? And then this one will be order 3. No, this one will be order 4. Right, this one will be order 3. I hope I'm right here. And then this last one, which one's this one? This one, where do we want this? Order 4, 5, right? Yeah? Okay. Okay, they're on order. All right, so now what?
So tower 1, 1, 5, flex to the end.
Okay, align items, flex end. No, justify.
Oh, flex start.
Justify start.
It's align self.
Ah, align self. Cool.
There you go. And then
This guy?
That one in the middle, center.
Align self. No, that was the wrong one. This guy.
There you go.
Okay, we gotta get rid of this. We gotta get this guy out of here.
Just center
Center that one, then we go.
Such urgency. Center it. Yeah, all right. All right. This guy's in the way still. I don't like it. What do I gotta do something with him?
Center it, so stop the weight.
Oh man, all right. A lot of power in the middle there. You feel good about this?
No, it's
Oh yeah.
I mean, unless it was better.
All right, we gotta hear this one.
Yeah, that's not.
All right. All right.
It's kind of getting
Don't. Oof. This is getting scary over here. He gets a little closer every time. Oh, there we go. All right. Nice job, guys. Okay, great. See you at 2:05. 2:05.